In the name of the Creator, Redeemer, and life-giving Spirit. Amen. We have heard stories like this one before. A family divided over questions about money, duty, responsibility. A son who wants to share his family's wealth now, not at some vague time in the future. A son who grows resentful over being the responsible one. A father caught between the two. Greed, failure, anger, contrition. Throughout history, through literature and the arts, people have confronted this complex web of family relationships. But a very early version of this story, version 1.0 as it were, is today's gospel reading, the story of the prodigal son. And the facts of the story are very familiar. The younger of two sons demanded that his father give him his share of the property that he would inherit on the father's death. So the father divided the property, and the younger son went off and squandered his property in dissolute living. When a famine came and he had no money, he got a job feeding pigs, a job that would have been otherwise unthinkable for a Jewish person. He wasn't earning enough to live on, so he decided to return home and throw himself at his father's mercy. He had planned to tell his father that he was unworthy to be called a son and asked to be treated as a hired hand. A remarkable transformation from arrogance to humility. When we as 21st century people look at this part of the story, we are not particularly shocked by it. We see a not too uncommon story of a young man wanting to set out on his own to make his own fortune, and a parent helping him out. In our culture, an advancement of an inheritance is an acceptable practice. But in the first century, this was an extraordinary request. For the father to fulfill this request, he would have had to divide the property between his two sons. Then the younger son would have to sell what his share was to someone else to generate cash. The shame that this would bring on the family would be added to the shame the son had already brought on the father by asking for his share before the father's death. It was the equivalent of saying, I wish you were dead and I had your money. In Jesus' culture, it wasn't unheard of for a person to travel to a different country to find work, and one hoped to succeed. One who returned home unsuccessful brought shame and embarrassed the family. When the prodigal son returns home, he admits he's a failure. So when the father sees this younger son approaching the home, he is filled with compassion, not anger, and he runs out to greet him. He brushes aside the son's heartfelt apologies and dresses him in the best robe, a ring and sandals. He rejoices the fact that his son, who had been dead to him, is alive. So why did the father run out to meet his returning son? Why was it important to get there before anyone else in the village did? Is it to protect the family from further scandal? If the father can get to the son before the village does, can he save his son from being cut off from the community? The father places himself literally between his son and the villagers. He wants to save his relationship with his son and his family's relationship with the village, all at the same time. Now, this reconciliation may cost him in honor, his greatness in others' eyes, but it's a price that he is willing to pay. The elder brother learns of the party in honor of his brother as he returns from the field. He hears the music and dancing, but refuses to go into the house.